Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about why I think Donald Trump is going to have some serious issues with his re-election campaign. I think that right now there are a lot of things that he is experiencing that are really going to cost him the election, and it's a lot of things he's going to have to overcome if he really wants to win another 4-year term. So today I just want to talk about both their revenue as well as their ad spending and just the battleground states and the state in which they are at right now. So the battleground states I'm going to look at in this video are Arizona, Texas, the Rust Belt, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, as well as North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So looking at these states, I did not include Minnesota, Nevada, New Hampshire, or Iowa, just because I think that these states, although not the strongest for their candidate, will not go to the opposing party. And Minnesota, just a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were saying how this state could flip for Donald Trump, but Joe Biden led by 9 points in all three of the latest polls that came out just a couple of days ago. So I really do not think that Donald Trump is going to flip this state right now, nor do I think he's going to flip New Hampshire, Nevada, and I don't think Biden is going to flip Iowa either. But these are all states that Trump won in 2016, but these are all states I could see going to either candidate in a realistic scenario. So first, I'm going to just take a look at some of the new polling data that has come out of each of these states. So first, out of the state of Michigan, Joe Biden leads by 7.5% in the state of Michigan. He leads in every single poll here. This is a state that Trump won in 2016, and Trump has never been ahead in the polls here. He has barely led. I don't think he has led in a single poll in a very long time here in the state of Michigan. Actually, I think that we can look down here. The last time he led was August 28th, and that was one very rare poll. If we look down, basically Biden has been leading here for the entire duration of the 2020 race. And I think this is a very good sign for Biden. I think that at this point, Michigan is pretty much locked down for Joe Biden. He is probably still going to underperform. I think that a 7% margin is more likely no matter what his polling numbers are, even if it's 8-9%. I think he is not going to overperform hit whatever his margins are according to the average polling data, just because I think that Donald Trump is going to outperform the polls in these states once again, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference this time. So Michigan is pretty solid for Joe Biden right now, and the state of Pennsylvania I think is also one of the most important states. And in the recent weeks, Pennsylvania has gotten pretty close. Pennsylvania is now only in favor of Joe Biden by 4.9%, so still a 5% lead, which is not too bad for Joe Biden. This is better than Clinton's margins from 2016. Joe Biden, again, does still lead in every single poll. So that's also going to go into the Biden column. And that if we look at this map, Joe Biden is now at 269 electoral votes. He is one electoral vote away from winning the election. And if he were to win the 2nd District of Nebraska, which he is very likely to do, he would win the election. Joe Biden would win the election with just winning Michigan and Pennsylvania out of all of these yellow states. He does not need any of them, but he leads in most of these states, which we're going to talk about in just a moment here. So the districts, I did not really talk about this, or I'm not going to talk about it just because it's only one electoral vote, so I'm going to focus mainly on the actual states here. So the next state is, of course, the state of Wisconsin. Trump is down 6.9 points here. This is devastating to his campaign. This was supposed to be the Rust Belt state that could go to Trump once again. This was the state that had the largest chance of still going to Donald Trump and win him the election. Because if we take a look at this map, if Donald Trump is able to hold on to the 2nd District, or if he's able to hold on to the 2nd District of Maine, and Joe Biden wins the 2nd District of Nebraska, if Trump wins the rest of these states, he would win the election. So the state of Wisconsin, if it goes to Biden, he can no longer win the election. So these 3 states would just give Joe Biden the election. He's already at 279 electoral votes, and Trump has already lost. And we haven't even, covered these other 6 states here. But let's just say that if Trump were to carry one of these states, like Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, there are still a lot of other ways that Joe Biden can make up this difference. He can win North Carolina and win the election. He can win Arizona. He can win Florida. He can win a combination of all of these states and win the election. But Donald Trump, he is not expecting to win any of these 6 states that I just talked about. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, nor Arizona is he expected to win. And he cannot cross 270 electoral votes without those states. So I'm going to put these back into the Biden column and move on to the state of Georgia. So looking at the state of Georgia, Trump leads by 1.3% here. This is a state that has not gone to a Democrat since 1996, and Georgia is a state that Trump won by over 6% in 2016. In the latest two polls, Biden leads here in the state of Georgia, plus 6% and plus 1%. Now, this might be a C-rated pollster, but there was a 1,616 sample size. So that is very good for Joe Biden, plus 6% in a state like Georgia. And if we were to really add all of these numbers up, Joe Biden would have a larger net result. But because of the balancing that 538 does, Donald Trump is still technically in the lead by 1.3% right now. 1.3% right now here in the state of Georgia. I think this is pretty alarming. If Trump can't win Georgia, I really don't see him winning the election. I think that if Biden wins Georgia, he's definitely going to win Florida, he's definitely going to win North Carolina, he's definitely going to win Arizona, and he's definitely going to win Wisconsin. So this is a state that Trump cannot lose, and well, I guess the good news is that he is still leading in the state of Georgia, so that I'm going to put into the Trump column. And the state of Ohio, 18 electoral votes, was very important to Trump's election in 2016 over Hillary Clinton. This was a state that Trump really did need. He now leads by 1.1% here. His numbers have been a little bit more stable. As you can see, in June and July, Joe Biden had at most a 2.9% lead over the president in the state of Ohio. And now he's up at 1.1%. So that's another good sign, I guess, but still not good. He won the state by over 8% in 2016. So that is quite a shift to the left for Joe Biden compared to the 2016 results. And then the state of Arizona, 11 electoral votes, Biden leads by 5%. This is Biden's peak in the state of Arizona ever. Even in his peak in other states, when he peaked around June and July, he was never able to reach 5% in the state of Arizona. Right now, he is at his peak. He leads by 10 points, 3 points, 2 points. His numbers here have been increasing, and the state of Arizona is honestly becoming more and more liberal. Mark Kelly is expected to win his Senate race by a pretty large margin over Martha McSally, and Joe Biden is also expected to win the state of Arizona right now. So that is also going to be put into the Biden column. At these four states, these states are the states that I consider to be the states that are going to win Biden the election. He only needs 3 of these states, so he can honestly swap out any of these states for each other and win the election. He just needs to win 3 out of these 4 states that he is doing very well in right now. He leads by at least 5% in all 4 of these states, and I think that it is really just the amount of options Joe Biden has to a victory that gives him the upper hand here in the 2020 election. And taking a look at the state of Texas, Trump leads by 1.1% in a state that has never gone to a Democrat in the last 4 decades. This is a state that he won by over 8% in 2016, which was not even good for the president or a Republican. Mitt Romney won this state with a safe margin in 2012. In 2016, it was basically cut in half. In the latest poll by Morning Consult, there is a tie here in the state. Trump led in a public policy poll, and then these other 2 polls show Trump plus 2 and then Biden plus 1, and then a Data for Progress poll shows Biden up 3, and you can read the rest down there. But this is still not a good sign for Trump. Definitely Biden could win this state because it's just so close right now, and Republicans do always tend to underperform the polls in Texas. Trump underperformed the polls, Romney underperformed the polls, and McCain underperformed the polls in the state of Texas. So if Trump were to do that again, he would lose the state of Texas. But I don't think that's going to occur. I think he will still be able to carry the state of Texas on election night. So I'm going to put that into the Trump column. But these 2 states, I think these 2 states are very important because I think these are going to be the 2 closest states in the 2020 election. So first, let's take a look at the state of Florida. Biden leads by 2.4%. And Biden leads in 3 out of the 4 polls that came out yesterday, and these are from Monmouth University. So these are 3 A+ rated pollsters give Joe Biden a margin of +3, +5, and +5. So an A+ rated pollster gave Joe Biden an average of over 4% over Donald Trump. So that is good for Joe Biden. And Michael Bloomberg has said that he is going to invest $100 million of his own money into ads here for Joe Biden in the state of Florida. So I think that is definitely going to give him a very large boost. And then the state of North Carolina, I want to take a look at this state right here. Joe Biden leads by 1%. The reason why I still think that Biden is going to carry this state is because Biden has led consistently throughout the entire election cycle in the state of North Carolina. There has never been a moment where Donald Trump was leading over Biden here in the state of North Carolina. And as you can see at two new polls by CNN, Biden +3, Biden +5. So I think that this state might still be pretty close, very close. I think it's definitely going to be a tilt state for either Biden or Trump. But right now I have my money on Biden just because he has been leading in this state consistently throughout the entire election cycle. Trump has never been ahead here once again. And in North Carolina, Biden spent $11.5 million last month, and Trump only spent $3.7 million. So I think that's definitely going to hurt him. I think that although ads don't decide whether you win or not, it can definitely have a huge benefit if you are spending more in that state. So these two states I'm going to both put into the Biden column. So as you can see, the problem here for Trump is that he has to flip. He does not flip. He has to retain at least 4 of these states. So and I don't mean retain as in, win these states back. These are states that he won in 2016. He won all of these states. He won Arizona by 4%, Florida by 1%, North Carolina by 5%. He won all of these states last time, but he's now not expected to win any of these 6 states. So he's going to have to win 1, 2, 3, 4 of these if he wants to win the election. If Biden wins 3 of them, he would win the election. So this, I think, is a real problem for Trump. Just the amount of states he has to win. And one other problem with Trump is that he is not doing well in terms of donations right now. He already pulled ads out of Michigan, Pennsylvania, as I said before, as well as Ohio, Iowa, and Nevada. So now he has no ads in these 6 very important states in the 2020 election. Nevada was a state that they were going to target because Clinton only carried it by 2.4%, and so was a state that, according to polling data, Trump was going to win in 2016. But Biden is not Clinton. He is much more popular, and he's doing much better in the state of Nevada than Clinton was 4 years ago. And looking at ad spending, there's really no state in which Trump beats Joe Biden in ad spending in these battleground states. The only state in which Trump has spent more in the last month is the state of Georgia. North Carolina, again, Biden spent $12 million, Trump spent $4 million. Arizona, Biden spent $10 million, Trump only spent $1 million here. In Florida, Biden's going to have another $100 million, and in the last month, he spent $23 million here. Trump spent $6.4 million in ads in the state of Florida. Wisconsin, one of the most important states, Biden spent $9.2 million, Trump spent $1.5 million. And then looking at the amount of money they have earned, Biden earned $365.4 million in the month of August. That is a record for any campaign in a single month ever. Trump was able to earn $210 million from donations. And comparing this to the 2016 numbers, Hillary Clinton earned $1.2 billion her entire campaign. And in 1 month, Joe Biden was able to earn $365 million, and Trump was able to earn $646 the entire time, so the numbers are up for both candidates. But I think that as of right now, Joe Biden is definitely doing much better than Donald Trump in the spending and in terms of revenue from donations. And just a couple of months ago, Biden was having this problem and Trump was not. Trump had so much money, but he has recently replaced some of his top officials in his campaign, and they said that the previous people in charge really did not do a good job at spending the money. They spent a lot of money on ads very early on that really had no effect on the electorate. They spent ads in March, April for Trump for president. Honestly, that was a complete waste of money. That long out before the election, they really did not need to spend that much money. Trump started his campaign once he won the election. He filed for re-election or for the Republican Party right on the day he was inaugurated. So he had this much time, and he seems to be in trouble with his money, and that is not a good sign for a candidate who is trying to run for re-election, is losing in most states, is down by around 8% in national polling, and there's less than 50 days to go until the election. So that is why I think Trump's campaign right now is in deep trouble, and I think that he's going to have to do so. I think that he's definitely going to have some great debate performances if he really wants to take this race back. Because just a couple of months ago, this was Trump's race. A lot of people did think that Trump was going to win the election, but now not so much. A lot of people have moved into favor of Joe Biden winning the election. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like on this video as well as subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate that. I appreciate all of your support. I would like to thank you guys all so much for 3,000 subscribers, and leave your thoughts in the comments below along with any video suggestions you'd like to see from me in the future, and I will see you in the next video.